Deep in the Bilagiri Rangaswamy hills of southern India, when a tiger moves through the underbrush, the indigenous Soliga tribe does not run, they worship it. They leave offerings of coconuts and plantains to Huli Virapa, a tiger deity they believe patrols their ancestral lands. When they encounter a real tiger in the wild, they speak softly to it, calling it a big dog. The aim is to keep the animal humble. They believe that calling it a tiger would make it feel too powerful to live alongside. This reverence reaches back over 4,000 years. On clay seals from the Indus Valley civilization, the tiger is integrated directly into spiritual life. Look at the right side of this figure. The animal is depicted as a central part of the sacred pantheon. Centuries before the first cities, prehistoric hunters painted the animal onto the walls of the Bhimbetka rock shelters. For these earliest inhabitants, the tiger was a co-inhabitant of the world, an apex predator viewed as a peer, a protector, and a brother. In this long-standing view of the world, the tiger and the forest were mutually dependent. The trees sheltered the tiger, and the tiger guarded the trees. Around 1900, roughly 100,000 tigers prowled India. But look at this cliff. In just decades, that number drops below 2,000. A methodical eradication swept the landscape, fueled by an outside ideology viewing the wilderness as territory to be conquered. The primary tool for this destruction was the shikar, the grand royal hunt. New rulers transformed the tiger's role. It was no longer a spiritual guardian, but a political target, a beast whose death served to communicate the hunter's authority over the land. The tiger's near extinction was the most visible result of the collision between indigenous reverence and a new requirement for total dominance. Mughal emperors utilized the royal hunt as a massive military exercise. By slaying dangerous predators in public view, the monarch at the center of the frame demonstrated his physical bravery and his right to rule. These campaigns were colossal logistical feats. Moving thousands of imperial troops across the country kept the military combat-ready during peacetime and allowed the state to gather intelligence on regional landscapes. Yet, the hunt relied entirely on local trackers, seen here holding their wooden tracking sticks. While the emperors projected power, these indigenous shikaris performed their own devotional prayers to the forest deities, maintaining a quiet culture of respect, even while serving the palace. The British Raj adopted this royal spectacle and intensified it. They turned vast tracts of forest into private hunting grounds, reserved for officials and their guests, effectively barring the public from lands they had used for generations. The hunt turned the tiger's body into a tool for projecting political sovereignty. Slaying the animal in public view provided the ultimate evidence of the hunter's authority over the land and its people. To justify the slaughter, colonial administrators, like Lord Curzon, rebranded the animal. The sacred brother of the tribes was reclassified in official records as vermin and a bloodthirsty beast. This rebranded provided a moral cover for the slaughter. By labeling the tiger a pest, the British positioned themselves as gentlemen hunters who were performing a service to the local population. The tiger was reduced to a commodified trophy. Pinned to the wall, its skin, claws, and skull were harvested to decorate colonial bungalows, serving as a permanent record of the hunter's skill. British royalty and Indian maharajas used these trophies to prove their masculinity and dominion. Posing behind the carcass was a way to verify their status within the imperial hierarchy. The imperial hunt stripped the tiger of its spiritual significance. It became a currency, an object used to buy political influence and verify the hunter's power over the environment. In 1972, India banned the trophy hunt and launched Project Tiger to save the species. It was a turning point for the animal's survival, but the effort was built on a paradox. The architects of modern conservation adopted the same exclusionary methods used by the colonial hunters they replaced. This map shows the model of fortress conservation. The strategy assumes that nature is most healthy when it is entirely empty of humans. By drawing a hard boundary around a park, the state separates the forest from the community. As a result, more than 1 million tribal people, the original guardians of the forest, were forced outside the preserves. They were evicted from ancestral lands to make way for a wilderness defined by its lack of people. By criminalizing the presence of forest dwellers, These modern policies extended the same logic of exclusion that once reserved the jungle for the private use of kings and colonial officials. Today, the tiger is still treated as a commodity. Instead of being shot for a rug, it is pursued for the paparazzi gaze. In reserves across the country, a row of tourists turns the animal into a living asset for a global industry. This safari pressure takes a visible toll. The constant barrage of vehicles and shouting tourists alter tiger breeding behaviors and create severe stress for the animals, while the local tribes are often barred from the profits. There is a different path. In 2011, the Suliga tribe won a historic legal victory to remain inside their ancestral tiger reserve, reclaiming their right to manage the forest alongside the animal. The results were immediate. In the areas where the Suliga tribe's forest rights were restored, the tiger population nearly doubled. Their presence deterred poachers, proving that the people who worshipped the tiger were its best protection. Saving the tiger does not require an empty forest. It requires abandoning the colonial habit of exclusion and returning to the ancient understanding of the tiger as a brother.